Alright, so today is posterior chain workout. I actually like to do this because most people have a weak posterior chain, and the goal today is to work all those muscles together. So we'll start by a basic compound movement that works the glutes and hamstring and lower back together. I'm going to be doing the sumo deadlift, and Doc and Chris are going to be doing Romanian deadlifts, or well, use stiff leg and Chris Romanian. So we'll have 3 different variations so people can see different options. The active rest will be curls with a kettlebell that's in front of you. Then after that we'll move to a coordination high power exercise, which will be the high pull. Then we'll work each portion of the posterior chain in isolation. So we'll start by hamstrings, then we'll work.
What's the difference between stiff leg deadlift and Romanian deadlift?
Well,
A lot of people get those confused.
On the Romanian deadlift, you have a slight knee bend, but the angle of the knees doesn't change during the range of motion, during the execution of the movement. So you bring the bar down, you start with a slight knee bend, and when you go down by bringing your hips back and keeping the same knee angle. One tip I want to use is when you're going to be doing this wrist, you will put, and Doc will do the same thing for a stiff leg, you'll put your toes on plates like this, which shift the center of gravity backwards and actually pre-stretch the hamstrings. Remember the biomechanical rule, the muscle being stretched the most is the muscle being recruited the most. So by raising your toes, you will increase the activation of the hamstring. So in a stiff leg, you keep the legs a bit straighter. In a Romanian, there's a slight knee bend. There's nothing wrong with using straps. It really decreases the amount of neural stress. So it allows you to do more work, train more often at the same lift. Even elite Olympic weightlifters, they still wear straps during snatches. It just reduces the amount of neural stress. Holding a heavy bar in your hand, that's a lot of stress on the nervous system. For heavy deadlifting at the hip, because the natural tendency is that the arm that's forward, that's pointing forward and supinated, you'll tend to pull like this. So you use actually that here as an anchor to prevent rotation of the hips. So that psoas become really, really tight, and this glute become really, really tight and hamstring. So you actually build your pelvis will tend to shift. I've actually seen some powerlifters have lower back problems because of that. Not because of the heavy loads they were lifting, but because their pelvis was becoming out of position. Just back. Stretch the hamstring. When doing Romanian or stiff leg deadlift, you are your own best coach, because the movement could look perfect externally or really bad externally, and it could be the opposite. As long as you feel an intense pre-stretch in the hamstring, then it works at the right spot. It's all about feeling the stretch in the hamstrings. Good.